Okay, we are recording. Welcome back to KYD.
One-handed band here. Today is a classic episode of This or That.
You know, like those videos like Coke versus Pepsi, iPhone versus Android, Mac or PC. Well, it turns out that RVers have a fair amount of this or that decisions also.
So we have 10 of the top this or that's that we get asked all the time.
All the time. And so we thought this is the perfect opportunity before we hit the road to address this as a, not necessarily like a Q&A, but when we get these questions, we can fire off this video. So we're going to talk about this or that, like part-time or full-time, RV park or state park, jetpack or weboost.
How about fire pit versus propane pit, Blackstone versus Camp Chef. Huge question, online school versus homeschool.
And then we have gas or diesel, auto level versus Anderson blocks, towable versus motorized, and then of course the grand finale, travel trailer or fifth wheel.
Ooh, I like this.
This is going to be good, and so we've got lots of stuff to cover in this video, and also we are preparing to hit the road.
Roll on out of here.
Next Sunday, we're going to do just a few little modifications to the Airstream before we go, and then we thought on our first video that we actually like make a travel video again, shove off, good, go underway, that we would share the process of getting out of the house and like what do we pack and where's all this stuff going to go and how do we handle clothes on the road and stuff like that. But
this is a much smaller rig than we are used to, and I think we have some answers for people that have been emailing in.
Yes.
Like, where do your clothes go? What do you bring in your kitchen? Like, we have answers.
So that's what's to come with KYD, but for right now, let's get to this or that. Oh, do we need theme music? We need theme music, for sure.
This or that.
That's pretty good. So the first one was part-time versus full-time, and I'm going to start a clock because we've got 10 things to cover, so each one has to be under 2 minutes.
Full-time?
You're out of time.
Full-time versus part-time. I think the most important thing is to make time.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you. Because if you don't make time, then the memories can't happen. So we get text messages, not text messages, Instagram messages, emails, and it will go like this. I've spent 19 years looking for the perfect RV. My kids are all grown now. Wish I would have done something. Yeah. So,
and that would have been us. That would have been us.
Yes.
I mean, I could totally see that if we just didn't start with the truck that we had, we would have gone into looking for the perfect rig, and the window might have shut, and the kids might have got involved in some sport something, and then we would have missed the window, and then a decade goes by. Right. That's life.
Okay, but number one, we could have also made those memories on the weekends.
That's true.
Okay, we didn't have to go full time.
That's true.
But we decided, because we like to do everything just like, woohoo!
Yeah.
So anyway, but I want to ask you, how did you feel when we first started?
Nervous, overwhelmed, scared?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I just want people to know that are contemplating this question, full-time, part-time, because maybe you've gone out on a few weekends and you're like, I want to do this full-time, but I feel so scared.
Yeah.
You're going to feel scared.
Yes. So here's what I think. When you come home, because we have the KYD cabin now, and it's kind of where we regroup in the winter in between seasons. And so when we're home, oh man, the dishwasher and the shower and the fast Wi-Fi and not searching for fast Wi-Fi is amazing. But here's the deal. You'll take it for granted in just like 2 to 4 months. You'll take it for granted, and then you'll start like yearning for the things you miss about the road. So the yin and the yang of the home base has really been kind of cool.
A lot of fun for us.
Yeah.
Well, the view is spectacular.
Is it?
It's spectacular. Look.
Wow. This is like we're nestled in the woods, like this is some sort of cabin.
Amazing.
And look, it's got room for the side deck and has grass.
What number is this?
128.
Oh, perfect, yes.
Grass sites, picnic tables, 50 amp.
Might be the nicest RV park we've seen in all of Alaska.
No joke. RV park or state park is the question. Now, we're partial to the RV park. And we're partial to the RV park because full hookups equals productivity.
That's right.
And I know it looks like putting together a 20 to 30 minute video is easy, but it takes a fair amount of time. And we have found that when the water's flowing and going out, efficiency is a lot higher. When I'm in a state park and we're looking for like when we're conserving water or Wi-Fi's not as fast, everything kind of slows down.
Right.
And that is the single reason why we're partial to RV parks.
Yes, if we were on true vacation and not full timing in our rig and working full time, then we'd probably enjoy state parks because there's more space. They're usually a little more remote.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're
Cozy.
near the water. They're cozy. If they're built by the Corps engineers, y'all are smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So you know how to put rigs in the perfect spot where we all just kind of are not in each other's business.
And there's usually full hookups. Gunnersville State Park, full hookups, big and spacious, off of the lake, which is beautiful. So there are many, many, many amazing state parks. But
not to mention price.
Oh yeah, and they're typically like $35 a night. So that's why we're partial to RV parks, but we'd like to stay at more state parks. And I think now, because we've been doing this for 4 years, we are now becoming more partial to state parks, dry camping, and boondocking.
Except we got a rig with smaller tanks.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
So
No, we got it. We got it.
we got it.
Yeah. What's our time?
Good. 125.
This
Ready?
is easy.
27, 28.
This is easy. Okay. Jetpack versus weboost. Let's go up here. Okay, let's talk about weboost versus jetpack, which is not really a fair comparison, because a jetpack, and I love how Airstream has this little thing right here, because this just lives up here with the Apple TV HDMI splitter. So a jetpack really isn't a booster by any means, but it's how we've been using our internet. This is a truly unlimited plan. It's how we've been using internet all the time we've been on the road. Like all the videos you see that we're uploading on the road all come from this. So what a weboost does is it boosts the signal. So it's like an antenna on the outside of the rig, and it goes and it boosts the cellular signal, and then it brings it in here, and then there's usually an antenna inside the rig that broadcasts that to your devices inside. And it does help. Here is the conclusion that we've come up with. When internet is critical, and sometimes it is absolutely 100% critical, then we need good internet. And I don't rely on the weboost for that good internet. I'd rather rely on the fact that this is mobile and we can go wherever we want. So I use an app that I mentioned a couple weeks ago called Open Signal. And with Open Signal, I can see where I'm gonna have the best 4G coverage or LTE coverage. And then when the internet's critical, we relocate to that area. We get all of our work done, our videos done, and listen to music and upload the video, and everything's good. And then we skedoot. Then the weboost is kind of a nice to have. So for those that are working from home and they're looking to invest in all sorts of fancy and expensive antennas for their work, I would suggest that probably when internet's critical, you too are going to rely on just being in a good area, and the weboost is nice to have. That's just our conclusion of using some of these boosters. I know some of them work, but like I said, when it's critical and we have to have it, we have to have it.
So do we go to a national park when we need Wi-Fi?
So in national parks, there are very few national parks that have good internet coverage, and so for that we make sure we do our national park days when we don't need internet at all, and we treat it like a black zone, and that seems to have worked the best for us.
Look at this 2018, it's amazing.
I'd like to thank Sunhills for allowing me to go online for the past 2 years, and for my parents to be able to take me everywhere and give me so many amazing experiences, along with all of my friends and family who have supported me this entire time. Thank you.
Online school versus homeschool. We've done it all. We've done public, private, online, charter. It sounds like we've moved our kids around a lot. But anyway, we've learned quite a few things. It all comes down to the individual kid. For us, we need a schedule. So I found homeschool to be a little too loose for me. I needed an online homeschool version that held us accountable. So I think you really need to dive in and figure out what your kids need. Are they more tactile? And that way you make their schedule and you say, hey, we're going to explore science and we're going to go out and do things. Or do you need something that's very structured? And then for us, we also needed to consider college. So if we did anything, I needed to make sure that the curriculum was accredited. And that was our most important line item when we got to high school. So when you dive in, figure out what kind of kid you have, figure out, do you need a structure or do you need it to be looser to fit that child's needs? Or do you need accreditation? Or what is the secondary school that your child is aiming for? And what does that school want to see from elementary, middle, and high school? We have a school for Caleb. He's our youngest. He's in 9th grade right now. And it's very structured. The he knows exactly what he needs to do, but it's also he can get through the curriculum really quickly. So if he wants to. So what we do is we make sure that we focus on what he actually wants to do when he gets older. So we're reading books about business, we're reading books about things that he absolutely loves. And then that way I feel like we're giving him a head start on what he wants to focus on next. So it's not just math, science, and reading.
One thing I'll note about the homeschool or online school, or let's just say non-traditional school, is episode 1, after we got the flat tire, a lot of the comments were, nice job ruining your kid's education. Like we said earlier, when you're nervous and you're wondering if you've done the right thing, you're reading these just terrible, cynical comments. And because of our travel, and because we went through Colorado Springs and exposed Carson to the Air Force Academy, he said that he wanted to go there, and because we were already doing something a little non-traditional, then we found Whitmore Academy to send him online, and now he's going to Culver Academy. So as a result of doing something different and taking a chance, it exposed us and our kids to something new that ended up shifting his entire future, which I think is really interesting. So all that to say, you do you, and don't let other people try to get you down or question what you're doing, because in the end you will make course corrections until it's right. And that's just it. That's what we do. We just, if it's not right, we just adjust. And I think it's so easy to think that whatever we're doing now is so pivotal. No, if it's not working, adjust.
Well, and here's the thing. Your kids are going to change the entire time they're growing up.
Yeah, your kids are going to change at home. Even in a tradition, they're going to change. We're always adjusting, and you're going to continue to adjust on the road all the time. You're just going to be tweaking until it's right. Well, hello.
Gotta climb on up here. Hello.
Yes. So, Trish, gas or diesel?
I don't know. I just love this truck.
I love this truck too, but they make this in a 7.3 liter gas called the Godzilla engine.
I've heard about this,
yes,
but I don't know really what it means.
Well, it's a 10-speed engine, and everyone was wondering why I didn't get it. It has an awesome gear ratio. A lot of things about it are great, but it's not diesel. And one thing about diesel is once you go diesel, it's hard to ever go away from it.
To go back because of depreciation.
Well, for a lot of things, for power, for towing up a hill and things like this. But for us, a lot of it has to do with depreciation because we drive so many miles.
Yes.
I mean, anyone who's going to go, I mean, we drive a lot of miles. When you put that many miles on a truck, depreciation has to be the first thing.
Right.
Now, diesels are a little bit more expensive to maintain, and so there's some additional costs, but I personally think you get it all back at the sale.
Yes. Well, the other day I asked on Instagram, what do you love most about your truck? And one of my favorite answers was, my truck is paid off.
That is the best truck.
That's the best kind of truck.
Best truck.
So we don't want you to feel overwhelmed by gas, diesel. They can get really pricey. And the truth is, our F-150 got us on the road, and it was gas, and it was amazing. It was a great truck.
It's a great truck, and no matter how amazing any truck could possibly be in the world, nothing could possibly compare to where we went and what we did with that truck.
Yes.
And so I would say that gas or diesel shouldn't even matter if you're going to your first rig and you're considering just getting going. Then once you're out there and you're doing it, then you can decide, okay, what should be next and things like this. There is one important thing to consider about diesel. They're a little bit heavier, and as a result, they have less payload. And so if you get like a 3/4 ton diesel truck like this F-250 and you want to pull a fifth wheel, you might be short on payload. We pull the Airstream, so it's not a big problem. But when you get up into those big triple axle toy haulers and things that have like 2,600 pound or 3,000 pound pin weight, that's when you have to start looking into dual wheel.
And we created a video, well, you did. It was really awesome about payload, so we need to link it.
So we'll link that there.
Down there somewhere.
So, gas or diesel, the one that gets you on the road. Already on the road? Well, then you can decide.
Yes. Yes. Gorgeous.
All right, so we're gonna get this nice and hot, and Trish might season it, and then we'll grill some steaks. Okay, so for talking about grills and talking about fire pits and fires, we had to come out into the forest. So, we got this is Black Stone versus Camp Chef or Camp Chef, but we don't have a Camp Chef anymore. I think that, and Trish can weigh in on this, the Camp Chef really is the premier grill, I think. It has the highest BTU. When you light that thing, it sounds like a jet plane is starting up. It's amazing. But over time, it got to the point where it was kind of a pain to set up, and Trisha said, can you go set up the grill? And I'd be like, really? And so it kind of changed our behavior a little bit. And so over time, we ended up going to the Blackstone. But I will say, if you're the type of camper where you've got the truck and the fifth wheel, and then the fifth wheel's pulling a boat, and then the boat's pulling another trailer, and the motorcycles are there, and you're going camping, and you're setting up, who cares how long it takes to set up? But when you're full-time and you're moving every couple days like we are, convenience is the key. So the Blackstone is what we ended up deciding was maybe not the best performance, but the overall most convenience. But I had to do some things to make it work. One is this case is fantastic because the Blackstone can be a little messy putting in and out. And this case, which was half the price of the grill, that's the other nice thing about the Blackstone is it's so affordable. So the other thing is it's really windy out here right now. When you're grilling with a Blackstone, all the wind goes underneath the griddle. So on their website, again, kind of pricey, and you can make these. A lot of people go to Dollar General and they get a metal measuring something or other, and that would work too. But this is right on the Blackstone website, and so I got 4 of these things for windy days, and then I got this cover like this. So that way, when it sits on this table, we've got a nice little cover. So I think with all the accessories, which increases the price of everything, I think it's still a pretty good deal. So, hey, not too dirty. And then the other accessory that we have for this is a cord that goes into this little guy so we can plug directly into the RV or into a 5-gallon tank, which would eliminate the use for this. And then this can be used to light the fire, which we're going to talk about next. So let me just show you how these things work. You see that? That prevents the wind. Pretty cool, eh? All right, so that's a bit about the Blackstone. So this is kind of like what we ended up going with a few modifications. We've made this work. Now, when we did our video a couple weeks ago, Trish was using a Tembo Tusk scuttle. And oh my gosh, hundreds of emails are writing in, hey, I saw Trish cooking with that scuttle. What is it? Where's a link? What, do you like it? And the reason we didn't mention it is because this is what a lot of the overlanders and Jeepers use, and I think the reason they use it is because look at how small it is. Look at, and then it comes with 3 aluminum poles that hold it up like a tripod. And I think the reason why it's so popular is because it stows down so small. The fact is, Trish, this isn't cast iron, is it?
No.
And so it had some heating spots, didn't it? Like some areas were hotter than the other. And so as a result of that, plus the fact that it had this little element right here, which, you know, you can attach right to the propane. We just didn't find, it was like $350. We thought for $350 we were getting a lot more scuttle. And so I think we've come to the conclusion that this is so popular because it stows down next to nothing and not because it's amazing cast iron with even grilling and things like that. Trish, you should have done this. Do you think that was a fair assessment?
Yep.
Okay. And then, of course, we're very excited about this. So this is the Traeger, which we actually got from the previous owners of the Airstream when we picked it up, and they're actually going overseas, and that's why they were selling the Airstream. And so he didn't have a use for all this, and so, you know, I got a pretty good deal on a Traeger. So this is the Traeger PTG. This is a smoker, and it's electric, and so we'll just plug it into the side of the Airstream. Oh, it smells so good. So
I just learned how to make smoked salmon on that.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
So good. So, you know, this isn't something that I think we're going to use every single day, but it's a pretty nice little treat, and we have made room in the bed of the truck for this. So, long story short, Blackstone overall barbecue RV winner, griddle, and really excited about this. Tembo Tusk, maybe good for overlanding, pretty expensive scuttle.
But we had the Camp Chef too.
We had the Camp Chef too. Camp Chef, 100%, 10 plus, amazing, very bulky, very heavy, takes a long time to set up.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yes.
Yes, Charlie? What you guys doing? Lit.
It's lit.
Okay.
It's lit.
All right.
Okay. Oh, that's still going. Propane, which you saw was instant, versus fire. Okay,
Hey,
I love...
This is going to be instant too. All right.
I love fire places or fire pits.
Fire pits.
For the smell,
Oh yeah.
the sound, it like instantly transports you. I'm in camping zone. And then the cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay, so you can cook. You probably know about your cast iron pans, but I don't know if you know about this grate that you put over, off to the side. You can do some amazing cooking. And then this is a traditional Dutch oven. So what you would do is actually put it over the fire, and you put coals right here. You can put wood coals or regular coals.
But it's specifically made for that with the little lip. So make sure if you get one, they make some that don't have the little lips, so you can't put the coals on the top. Wow.
What is that, like first timer's luck or something?
I don't know.
What?
How is it? Is it hot?
I can't feel my mouth.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. This is where I was keeping the fire starter for that.
Nice.
To make things easy.
Easy peasy. So what do you like? Do you like fire?
So here's what happened.
Fire.
We didn't have a propane fire pit for the longest time, and for a very simple reason. Well, they're $100.
Yeah.
And then it's just one more thing to have in your truck.
Yes.
And then we were gonna have some friends over at the RV, and it was a no burn day. And I'm like, well, we can't not have the ambiance of a fire. And so we thought, well, let's just go get the fire pit. And at the end of the day, it's convenient to have if you have the space.
Yes.
But nothing, to Trish's point, nothing replaces firewood, the sound, the smell, and the cooking. And this is hot, but not as hot as a fire pit.
Yes.
I'll add one more thing. The reason that I think we ultimately also, after we had our friends over, we went to this is because firewood can be fairly expensive when you buy at an RV park or state park. I think at Big Sur State Campground, we spent $20 for the bundle. Okay? And then when you cross a border, I mean, you think oranges and apples and fruit is bad? Firewood is like all-time high.
A no-go.
Depending on the season and the border you're crossing.
Yes.
And then there's also campgrounds that don't want firewood coming in from outside because you're going to bring in, beetles, and the beetles.
So you have to buy it there.
Yes, you have to buy it there. So it's a pain, but I think that's a weird noise. It's a pain worth enduring so that you can get the benefits that Trish described. So
yes, but
long story short.
Even right now, we're not allowed to have fire. It's a no burn.
It's a no burn?
Yeah, it's a no burn right now.
Oh man,
so
how about this? So
that's why
a few
we have
accessories, because I'd said if you have the cord for your black stone or your barbecue. I'm gonna turn this
I think
off.
We're running out of propane.
Oh, we're just running out. Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you can, these green bottles are good for the Blackstone, but they're great for starting the fire, and they're even better for negotiating with your kids to do things if your kids are of the age. How do you like your new fire starting tool?
Honestly,
Yeah.
you said no hatch it, and I was kind of annoyed. But then you brought this puppy out. You are fully forgiven.
Oh yeah, I figured I would be.
And no matter which one you're doing, this or that, you can still have s'mores.
That's true.
Doesn't matter.
But don't you think s'mores taste better on an open fire?
You can put them in an oven. I don't care. They're so good.
You know what? With Ronald McDonald House in Nashville,
we did.
We did.
Yeah, and
Well,
it was
we
great.
didn't.
No,
But
we learned.
We
We
learned.
learned the ways.
yes. And then Trish, very first cramping trip we ever did, she put the s'mores inside of a waffle cone. She layered the chocolate inside, and then she wrapped it in foil and put it on the camp chef, right?
Yeah,
Or on the fire.
You know how they have like salsa contests?
Yeah.
People could do s'mores contests.
Yes.
I've seen people put in like peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Like Heath bars. These are fun things to do.
Yeah. All right, on to the next this or that. I'm lowering it right now. As slowly as I can.
Trish, is it level?
You realize that our back tire is on 3 blocks and our front tire is on 2 blocks, and we're still doing this. I don't know how we're gonna sleep tonight.
So Tori is on her way up with a friend, and I had to move the rig because it wasn't level, like at all. And I thought, well, as long as I'm moving the rig, let's take it over to the forest to show you how the Anderson levelers work, because I've never really done a video on it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And combined with the Level
Super
Mate Pro.
easy.
Super easy. And so I wanted to share you that. And then let's first have a quick conversation around travel trailer or motorhome. No, I'm sorry. Towable RV or motorhome.
Yes.
So let's talk first about some pros and cons of each, and then we'll share why we enjoy the travel trailer.
Okay.
And then we'll level this thing. Okay, let's first talk about towable RV pros and cons.
Okay.
Pro.
Towable pro?
Towable pro, that we enjoy a nice, quiet, safe ride.
We enjoy the truck.
We enjoy the truck. Second pro is that it feels a little bit more like home when everything's set up.
There's no seats inside the living space.
Yes.
Of like a normal Class A.
Third is that you get a lot of space for the price.
Huge.
Yeah.
Depending on what rig you purchase.
Yes.
The prices are fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great place to start.
Yes.
Okay, cons. You have to buy a truck.
Yeah.
Did I
Or
really
you
list that? Did I really list that in the con category?
You have to.
Okay.
Or you could have a truck and then it's a pro.
Yes.
But anyway.
Towable RVs do tend to be a bit more time consuming to set up and tear down. There's no
For
question
sure.
about that.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then lastly, you have to back it up.
But
Oh.
you're in luck.
Yes.
Because we have a backing video.
Yes.
And it's not as hard as it seems with a little bit of practice.
And the only thing I wish I would have said in that video is there's a lot of solo travelers, and people wrote in and they said, oh, it looks like you guys really work together and communicate a lot to back. Can you do it by yourself? I do it all the time. You remember goal, get out and look? I do goal before I even start and throughout the entire process.
Right.
That's really the only difference. We do it all the time.
Right.
The other thing that's really nice for solo travel is what we're about to show you with the Anderson levelers.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's talk about motorhome pros and cons. And please know that we've only ever had travel trailers, so it's biased.
Well, right. And, well, we've traveled in one Sprinter in New Zealand.
We did, yes. Let's start with pros. Easier setup process.
Completely.
Yes.
Completely.
Yeah.
And every Class A owner will tell you about it.
They will. They'll pretty much say they hit a button and everything's on.
Everything's on.
There may be a slight exaggeration in this, but it is easier.
Yeah.
Better for more frequent stops and traveling faster. So people that like.
Well, and we just ran into someone and they said, oh, we had to get a Class A because we're taking our mom and she needs regular bathroom breaks.
Yes.
And that's just the only way we could do it.
Yes. Arguably more comfortable, and it might depend a little bit on the type of
Well,
RV.
how many people are in the rig? Because for us, you know, the master room and the bunks were like this. So I was like, this is a lot of money to spend to be like that.
Yeah.
But if
well,
it was
even
just the
driving
two of
to
us,
it on air ride, if you have like a big old fancy motorhome, you're just like going down the road. I just thought of another pro. A lot of people with a big old fancy motorhome, they love that big windshield.
Yes.
And they say when you're going through like the Tetons, it's like you're in an IMAX movie theater. They love the windshield. I could see that. I could definitely
well,
see
and
that.
they're gorgeous.
Yes, very pretty. Okay, cons. Tend to be more expensive, and I'm not just talking about the RV. I mean everything that goes with it, from the tires to the repairs to needing to find very specialized mechanics, the towing, registration. Total cost of ownership on a motorhome is more.
More. Of course, there are exceptions. And so the people that know how to work on rigs and they find a great deal, fantastic.
Yes.
But generally speaking, much, much more.
Another con is you can't, I've heard that backing it up when you have a tow vehicle is like I mean, I'm sure you could back it up a little, but you can't really maneuver it like a trailer. So it's kind of a forward-only situation when you're going. And then lastly, we experienced in New Zealand when we were in a kind of a bloated, it was like a C class, bloated B, class C, that it is a little bit noisy. I mean, you have all the stuff inside. You got the dishes and the plates, and you got drawers.
When we finally come to a stop, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't think we ever really noticed how noisy it was until we got back in this truck, and then the
You like
juxtaposition
close
was
the
so
doors
quiet.
and it's like,
Yeah.
you're in your little vacuumed, sealed environment.
So we are partial to travel trailers, and we did go that route. I will say that one of the myths, I would say, about a motorhome
Yes.
is that people tend to say, well, I like that everyone can just kind of be around and we could be eating while we're going, and it's like this idea that you're going to be like making a pizza as you're driving down the freeway. And the reality is the slides are in, everything's strapped down, and it's not really like that. Drive days tend to only, for us, only like 2 to 3 hours. And so I just think it's important to acknowledge that, let me put it this way. Maybe there are some people that can go down the road in a motorhome and everyone can be just doing whatever. Not a YouTube creator.
No.
Okay? We learned in New Zealand, when the boys got out of their seat, get your boys back in that seat right now! You sound
like that song.
So we realized that there's no possible way we could do a motorhome for that.
No,
Everyone's gonna
it would have been a
buckled up.
full-time. It would have been a full-time job for us to keep everybody in their seat and seat belts and everything else. So anyway,
okay, let's get out and let me show you how the Level Mate Pro works. But let me first just show you quickly on my phone. Let me get it up and we'll see if we're quickly level. Oh no, this is good. So it's showing the passenger side needs to come up
Oh, like a lot.
4 inches, 4.75 inches.
Whoa.
That's really good.
Okay. So you want to use that? That'd be good.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So auto level or Anderson blocks. Now, auto level, the first time you experience, if you have a rig that has auto level, and that's the device typically made by Lippert, and I'm sure there's other ones where you hit the button and everything just automatically levels. It is a glorious thing. I remember hitting the button and going, wow. I mean, we really liked it. But there are some drawbacks. One is that you have to be somewhat level for it to, like, if you're way off, the system will malfunction. You're gonna have to use boards and you're gonna have to get it partially level. But I think the biggest drawback, if there is one, we actually didn't experience this in season 7 with our toy hauler, is that if it malfunctions, you could end up having a bit of a problem. So I would recommend you learning how to override the auto level system to get everything to go back up now while you're at home, you're watching YouTube, you have the manual, because if it happens, it's gonna be at 11 o'clock and the checkout's gonna be at noon and you're gonna be holding things up. So I would say that. So if you don't have auto level, the next best thing, and arguably, I don't wanna say better, because auto level is great, but Anderson blocks really do take all the frustration out of leveling out when it's paired with the LevelMate Pro. So let's first get the Anderson blocks and then we'll go grab my phone. I'll show you how it works. All right, so we keep our Anderson levelers here in the bumper like this. And I'll tell you, I was really reluctant to get these because I didn't want to carry these around. And I was really reluctant to get the LevelMate Pro because I didn't want another app on my phone. And I could not have been more wrong about both. Okay, let me show you how these work. You take these blocks, you put them under the tire like this, and then you reverse back up on them, and you go up until you're level, and the best way to do that is through this LevelMate Pro. And when I installed the LevelMate Pro device that it connects through Bluetooth, I put it as far forward in the trailer as possible so that I can connect to it from the inside of the cab. That's one of the best features of this, is that if we're gonna go into Walmart or we're gonna just dry camp somewhere and we don't wanna disconnect, then we can use the app to just drive around until we're level. So I can see I need to come up on this side 4 inches, 4.75 inches. So I'm gonna go do that now. One thing to note, if you're within like an inch or under an inch or just very, you have to go up very little, then I just use 1 block instead of 2. That way I can bring that up and chalk it rather than having to use both blocks and go up a little bit. Plus, it's easier when you leave because then this doesn't get stuck between the tires. So let's back up, and then Trish will tell me when to stop. Well, no, I'll know when to stop, and then when I do, I'll put the parking brake on, and Trish will put these little wedges in. Okay, so now that we're back on these blocks, you put these wedges in like this, and it's level. And it's providing a little bit of a chalk on the side that's up, which I think is pretty cool. So this is awesome for solo traveler, but it also takes all the guessing work out. So now we just need to level the front and the back. Front to back. Okay, so now it says I need to go down 3.5 inches, so I would disconnect, go down until I see a green light, and I'd be good to go. Can you use a level? 100%. This is just pure convenience. Completely not essential, but it does make your life so much easier, and it works so well, especially when you're by yourself. I would say that when this is not working and we do use a level for ourselves, there's a lot of it's good enough. We put it down and be like, it's good enough. And the problem with that is that then we end up staying a week, and for like a week and a half, Trish and I are just like, the door and the drawers are just like going in like this, and we're like, we should just take in some extra time to level. That's what happens when we do it manually. But that's a us problem, not a you problem. Okay, and for the grand finale question, travel trailer or fifth wheel?
Ooh.
And we get this question probably more than any.
Yes.
Because we've had both.
Yes.
And a lot of people are looking for their first rig, and they want to make it right. They want to do it right.
Right.
Which I understand. Yeah. So here's what I found. When you go onto the Facebook groups and you type in, hey, I'm thinking about getting either a travel trailer or fifth wheel, what should I get? You're going to find that people have very strong opinions on why you should get a fifth wheel. Yes. And there's some valid reasons.
Yes.
Right? So let's talk about some of the pros to a fifth wheel. They're known to tow better, and they do.
They have that reputation.
Yeah, they kind of tow it together a little bit. There isn't that little trailer sway where you get sucked over a little bit when a semi-truck passes. They are a little easier to maneuver because the kingpin's directly over the axle of the truck, and thus they're a little bit easier to back up. They have tall ceilings,
which is super nice for all of those guys out there and some women that are very tall.
Yep.
Okay, your bathroom is going to be taller, your shower, all the living spaces, you're not going to be coming in through the threshold and bumping your head every single time. Even in the Airstream, Carson is like, ow, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
but even with those advantages of a fifth wheel, I would not rule out a travel trailer. And we've had both, and we came back to a travel trailer. I would say travel trailers have the reputation of like white knuckle driving, and it's just not true. If you are having a white knuckle travel trailering experience, it's because something is out of alignment. Maybe there's the weight and the balance and the rig isn't right, or maybe there's something wrong with the tow vehicle, or maybe you've got to adjust the height of the hitch, or that you have the wrong hitch altogether. Don't give up on the travel trailer. Try to figure out what is making it not enjoyable to tow before you upgrade.
And then if you have a travel trailer in mind and a fifth wheel in mind, and you have an RV show coming up, it is a lot of fun to go to them, but stay focused and say, these are my main concerns in buying a rig. This is what I absolutely need out of my rig. And then go there and say, these are the things I'm going to go see. And when you stand in a rig, you'll say, oh, no, this isn't for me. Or, oh my gosh, I love it. I can't believe I love it so much. So going and being able to stand inside of one of those two rigs will help you understand, like, oh yeah, this is going to work out.
And then the only other thing I'll add is that when we had a travel trailer and we had a half-ton truck, we first upgraded our truck to a 3/4 ton diesel, and then later we upgraded to a fifth wheel. So we got to experience what it was like to tow the same trailer with a half-ton truck and a 3/4 ton diesel, and it was a night and day difference. And often I feel like sometimes fifth wheels get so much credit for being better because people change everything in one shot. They go from like an SUV and a small travel trailer that they never liked to a dually and a fifth wheel, and they're like, oh, the fifth wheel's so much better. It's like, well, you changed everything, right? And so just acknowledge that sometimes just upgrading your tow vehicle with a travel trailer will also make a big difference. And then moving to a fifth wheel if you like. But I don't know, there's a lot of great travel trailers out there. We really enjoy it. We're loving the Airstream, and with that in mind, we can't wait to get back on the road.
It's coming. I'm so excited.
So as we said at the beginning of this video, we're popping back down to Phoenix to get just a few more things done on the Airstream, and then we're packing up to get out of here. We'll be on the road for 7 months, and we're glad that we're able to share this experience with you.
And somehow we're going to be able to pack up that cabin and fit most of the things in here without being overweight.
Somehow, some way.
Some way.
In the meantime, we will catch you the same time, same place next Sunday.
Bye for now.